What is going on, everybody? It's the France, and we're here for a Smackdown Live review for the February 19th, 2019. I know this is the next day. A little bit of power-up struggles at my house, so I had to come down to another place to get my review in, and I couldn't watch Smackdown till today. And the first thing I have to say was that so hard for the NXT call-ups to have a great reaction? They went to NXT Monday Night Raw, funeral silence. Came to Smackdown Live, it was in New Orleans, Louisiana, where Gargano and Ciampa had that great battle at NXT TakeOver New Orleans last year, and they had a hell of a match. They took on The Bar tonight. Ricochet took on Eric Young, and Aleister Black took on who did Aleister Black take on for a second? Hold on. Aleister Black took on Andrade. And yes, Sanity is alive. Asuka's alive as well. She was on this show tonight too. But it was better for SmackDown than we got for Monday Night Raw. SmackDown made these guys feel important. SmackDown made these guys, put these guys more over than you got on Monday Night Raw. Monday Night Raw, it was a travesty having to watch these guys go out there and get no reaction whatsoever. They came out tonight. Everyone got reactions. It's just amazing what happens when you go to a town that actually knows who these people are. At Monday Night Raw, it felt like Lafayette didn't know who these guys were, or they didn't care. It felt like the kids were the ones who wanted to come there, and the parents were just being drug along, and they didn't care. Smackdown last night was a pretty decent show. We did find out who was facing off against Daniel Bryan this in 3 weeks' time at Fastlane, and that would be one Kofi Kingston. And we will talk about all of that, all the rumors and innuendos coming out of everything from Monday Night Raw, SmackDown Live, and the Elimination Chamber this coming Saturday on Unscripted, which should be on the channel at normal time. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. Now, SmackDown started off with Shane in the ring, talking about how impressive the Raw debuts were for Aleister Black, Ricochet, NXT Champion Tommaso Ciampa, and North American Champion Johnny Gargano. Shane says they impressed so much that he's having them on SmackDown tonight. Shane says we have much more, and then he gets interrupted by his tag team partner, The Miz. So, Miz also coming into SmackDown last night, we knew that The Miz was going to be offering an apology to Shane McMahon for the simple fact that he was the reason they lost their championships last night at the Elimination Chamber. Miz takes the mic and apologizes for losing the SmackDown Tag Team titles to the Usos, taking the blame for it. Miz goes on about how Shane took a risk by teaming with him. Miz says he has a confession to make. Miz says he used Shane. Miz knew Shane could relate to how he felt about his dad. A dad chant starts, which is just like, at least, I will say this again, New Orleans was way better than Lafayette when it came to crowd reaction. They were into this show all night. It was definitely better off. Miz talked about how Shane stepped in that crown jewel to win the World Cup. When Miz went down with an injury, he goes on about how Shane teamed with him to win the SmackDown Tag Team titles, and they did it together. Miz goes on and recalls how Shane surprised him with his dad for the post-match celebration. Miz gets choked up in some when recalling Mr. Miz. Chant from the post-title segment. Fans chanted again. Miz says his dad told him he loved him and he was proud of him after the title win. That was the first time in Miz's life that he heard his dad say that. I highly doubt that. This is just playing in the storyline. Just go with it. And it's all thanks to Shane. Miz thanks Shane again. Miz says he let Shane down 2 days ago in their first title defense and he's sorry. Miz can't change the past, but he can control the future. Miz says if there's anyone that can make this rematch, because he knows that the rematch clauses are antiquated and they're gone. So Miz said no, Shane wants it. Miz gets a rematch chant going. And out come the Usos. They are fired up. They keep saying whoa, 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 whoa after I swear it was like 10 times they said whoa back and forth. They say it sounds like the WWE Universe wants a rematch. They raise their titles up. The Usos remind us that there are no more automatic rematches. However, the Usos are going to give Shane and Miz one more chance to prove that they are the best. They start calling Miz a joke, a loser, a failure, and a fraud. The Usos say Shane needs to find a new tag team partner. Shane eventually interrupts and tell him don't disrespect The Miz. Shane thinks about it and then makes the rematch at Fastlane on March 10th in Miz's hometown of Cleveland, Ohio. So we got a tag team match for the tag team titles, a rematch, which yes, tag team like the rematch clauses are antiquated, but it doesn't mean that we're going to not see title rematches here and there. We saw it with Shinsuke Nakamura and Rusev. We're gonna see it here, but I don't want to see it like every single month someone loses a title. We're just gonna bam rematch. And then before Miz and Shane could leave, Miz and Shane could leave, Aleister Black's music hits, and we have him coming out to a huge pop compared to what we heard on Monday Night Raw. Huge pop for Aleister Black. We come back from break because they've been doing this. I noticed this on Monday too, that they like to get you hooked into what's coming next. The segment ends with The Miz and Shane McMahon, and then the next thing you know, bam, it's Aleister Black's music. He comes in and he's ready for his match. Back from break, and we have a video for promo for Black, and Andrade is out next with Zelina Vega. The bell rings, and they go at it. We see Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa backstage watching the match. Andrade takes control in the corner and delivers a knee to the chin. I just gotta wonder. I wonder how it must feel that Zelina Vega being on the opposite end of her husband when it comes to this, because she is married to Aleister Black. It was funny because Andrade was coming out and Corey Graves said something to the fact of, this man's, like, he said, look who's with him, and I was like, yeah, it's Aleister's wife. Must be kind of awkward to be on the opposite side. It was funny. Black runs the ropes and hits the ropes, then puts on the brakes and hits his moonsault into the seat in the middle of the ring, and we go to commercial. Back from break, and Black mounts some offense. Black with the running knee to the face. Andrade ends up sending Black out to the outside. Andrade brings him back in, but can't hit the hammerlock DDT. He tries to hit the hammerlock at least 3 or 4 times in this match. More back and forth between the two. Black hits a big German suplex as Vega screams at ringside. Andrade counters a suplex attempt, and Black runs into a boot. Black charges, but Andrade launches him into the turnbuckle. Andrade with a running double knees into the corner. Black still kicks out at 2. Andrade goes for the hammerlock again, but Black picks him up, drops him on the turnbuckle. Andrade turns around into the Black mask for the 1, 2, 3. Definitely nowhere close to the TakeOver New Orleans match from last year, but still not a bad showing for Aleister Black and Andrade. The only disappointing of it is that it seems like the Rey Mysterio Andrade thing is on hold, or it just got dropped, because there was no mention of Rey Mysterio and Andrade feuding. They did, of course, bring up the match that these guys had last year at TakeOver New Orleans, and the fact that Zelina Vega and Andrade has not been able to get under the skin of Aleister Black. We see Gargano and Ciampa backstage watching the match. Kayla Braxton approaches them for comments on Monday Night Raw's debut. Ciampa talks about how they have made careers off defying expectations, how he wasn't just handed the NXT title, he earned it. Even though, he earned it but at the expense of Johnny Gargano helping him. He goes on, and Gargano mentions how they did battle in this same arena last year, but here they are together. Gargano says they are going to prove that they are the future, and out come the Bar. They take shots at Gargano and Ciampa and say, no one knows who you are and nobody cares, kind of because of last night where it felt like nobody knew who these two were. Just stay away from Smackdown. You can go back to Raw or NXT. They step up, and Shayman asks if they are joking. Thinks this is a joke. Ciampa says they are here to take over, just like Gargano said the night before, not play games. Gargano says they are not here to set the bar, they're here to break the bar. And the bar just laugh it off as they walk off. We see Jeff Hardy backstage with AJ Styles. Jeff wants to let bygones be bygones and focus on tonight. Then Kofi Kingston stands an olive branch, but one with pancakes on it, which, it's a new day. AJ and Hardy take a bite of pancakes, and they're all on the same page for tonight's big 6-man tag match, because tonight will be all 6 men from the Elimination Chamber. Jeff Hardy, AJ Styles, and Kofi Kingston versus Randy Orton, Daniel Bryan, and Samoa Joe. Then we have the Bar versus DIY. We come back in the first outcome North American champion Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa. The Bar look on smirking as the champs come in. Cesaro is mocking Johnny Wrestling's nickname, but Gargano turns it around and takes him down. Gargano with a 2 count. Cesaro drops Gargano in a big European uppercut. Sheamus tags in for some double teaming on Gargano. Ciampa tags in and clotheslines Cesaro over the top to the floor. Ciampa with a big knee to knock Sheamus onto the floor. Gargano finds the ropes and nails a suicide dive on Sheamus. Cesaro catches Ciampa coming off the apron to the floor, dropping him in a tilt-a-whirl backbreaker on the outside. That was definitely a heck of a thing. He dove onto Cesaro. Cesaro caught him, but where Cesaro caught him, he actually knocked the cameraman down so you couldn't see the action actually make sense. It was interesting to see that. Let's see here. Sheamus jumps Gargano with the knee next to Ciampa, and the Bar stand tall as they go to commercial break. Coming to the end of this match, Gargano fights off both opponents on the outside. Cesaro gets sent into the LED board at ringside. Gargano brings it back in the ring with a big slingshot DDT on Cesaro for a 2 count. A very, very close 2 count. I thought he was actually going to beat him at that time. Excuse me. Gargano rolls it in, hits his rolling kick. They tangle, and Gargano drops Cesaro into the Gargano escape in the middle of the ring. It gets broken up by Sheamus, and this leads to a big double team by the Bar. Gargano still kicks out as 2 as Ciampa comes in from the out of nowhere to make the save. Sheamus ends up hitting the Irish coast backbreaker on Gargano for a close 2 count. Sheamus cannot believe it. He's expecting this to be over. Sheamus grabs Gargano and starts talking trash to his face. Gargano responds with a big super kick for a 2 count. Cesaro comes in and charges for a cheap shot, but to Ciampa, Ciampa jumps off the apron. Gargano rolls him up for a 2 count. Ciampa ends up taking the tag as Cesaro has Gargano mounted in the corner. Rolls up, backslide Ciampa for the 1-2-3. After the match, DIY leaves with their titles. Well, they leave as Ciampa's music hits. The Bar cannot believe it. We see Samoa Joe getting ready for this main event. Randy Orton appears and they seem a little bit friendly. Daniel Bryan appears next to Rowan, and it looks like heels are sort of on the same page. Samoa Joe looks at Daniel Bryan's chest because it looks like a little bit of dog meat because of the match on Sunday, and they seem to be all kosher for now. We get a video package for Ricochet for later tonight. He will be facing Eric Young. We go to the ring, and out comes the no longer missing in action Asuka. Where has she been? Back from break, and the ring announcers talk about DX going into the Hall of Fame. I noticed that they did change the Hall of Fame logo. It is revamped from the previous years. Asuka's in the ring with Kayla Braxton. Braxton brings up Asuka's success and says lately more people are talking about the Raw Women's Championship, Ronda Rousey. Gee, I wonder why. You have the hottest babyface, the hottest act in WWE going for that championship. Plus, Ronda Rousey has been on TV for the last 4 weeks, whereas Asuka has been a ghost, has been gone, hasn't been seen. So yeah, people are going to talk more about the Raw Women's Championship over the Smackdown Women's Championship when the Smackdown Women's Champion wasn't even on TV for the last 3 weeks. She asked Asuka if she'd got lost in the shuffle with the other superstars in the division. Asuka says what she really feels is she's ready for a new challenge. Asuka says she has beat both Becky and Charlotte at TLC. She made Becky tap at the Rumble. She doesn't want to talk about Becky and Charlotte. She just wants to know who is ready for Asuka right now. Out comes Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville. Rose mocks Asuka for no one paying attention to her. Rose tells Asuka to take notes from God's greatest creation. Rose talks herself up and says if anyone is ready for Asuka, it's her. This match here tells me that we're probably going to see Mandy Rose versus Asuka for the title at the Fastlane pay-per-view. This match was a match. We had Lacey Evans distract, and Asuka almost gets defeated because of it. Rose ends up getting more strikes and some trash talking about how Asuka will never look like her. Asuka fires back and unloads, hitting a hip attack and some strikes. Asuka comes back with a German suplex and a Shining Wizard, but Rose still kicks out. Rose ends up faking the eye injury as the referee checks on her in the corner. Rose pulls Asuka face first into the ropes and takes advantage of the ploy, rolling her up for the 1-2-3. Mandy Rose beat Asuka. Let that sink in. Mandy Rose beat Asuka, which tells me that Mandy Rose will be facing Asuka at Fastlane for the Women's Championship. Will she be winning the Women's Championship? I don't think so, for the simple fact is it's more money to have Asuka take the title into WrestleMania. What plans do they have for Asuka at WrestleMania? I have no idea. We have backstage, we have Sarah Schreiber, who it's just another one of those, who is this? Who is this? Because it just seems like there's a new face every week who's doing, like, interviews backstage. She's backstage with Charlotte about what happened last week, which just happened. Sarah's then asked about Becky Lynch violating her 60-day suspension by attacking at Saturday's night event and then on Sunday's Elimination Chamber. Schreiber asks if Becky will haunt her for the entire road to WrestleMania. Blair says that's funny. That's a good word because she doesn't exist right now. She's been suspended. Becky, in typical fashion, made things worse for herself by re-injuring her knee, or I did. Now Becky is facing legal actions if she violates her suspension again. Flair goes on to say whether he like it or not, it's a singles match at WrestleMania, Flair versus Raw Women's Champion Ronda Rousey, and it will be the main event because I'm in it. Oh really? Really? Because you had a women's championship match on the WrestleMania last year, and it was like the second match or third match of the night. So, yeah, I doubt that. Miz tells Shane McMahon that his dad's going to be at ringside at Survivor Series at Fastlane, so we all know how that's going to go. We come to the ring and we have Ricochet actually getting to make his entrance compared to this past Monday where he made a run-in to help Finn Balor and then got thrown into a match, so he got to use his whole entrance. The one negative about this match is the fact that Ricochet versus Eric Young started during the break. They did the picture-in-picture after Ricochet came out, and we got Eric Young making his entrance. So that was like the one negative, is like the first 2 minutes or so of this match was Ricochet waiting for Sanity to come in. So Sanity, yes, they're still there, yes, they're still alive, and they actually made it to TV. But it just sucks that had to happen. The match gets underway. This match was it's more the same paint by numbers Ricochet match. Fans chant for Ricochet as he brings Young back in the ring. Ricochet drops Young with a kick to the face. Somewhere in this match, Eric Young got busted open. Because the referee, you know when somebody's bleeding when the referee starts putting the gloves on. You could just see on the right temple of Eric Young, he just was bleeding this entire, like, half of this match. 6:30 from the top rope for the 1, 2, 3. Ricochet beats Eric Young. After the match, Ricochet stands tall as his thing, and we go to break. Kayla Braxton is backstage with the New Day, Kofi Kingston, Big E, and Xavier Woods. We hear from the fans arena chanting Kofi. Kayla brings up Triple H praise Kofi on Raw and his performance. Woods interrupts and says this didn't happen overnight or the last 7 days. This happened, Kofi's been doing this for 11 years. And they, same old, same old. First name Futmo, last name Mentum. Kofi says it's the time to ride this momentum as Big E does his unusual introduction in front of the camera, which was pretty cool that you actually got to see the New Day introduction that Big E always does for one of the few times in front of a camera. Then we had our 6-man tag, Kofi Kingston, AJ Styles, and Jeff Hardy versus Daniel Bryan, Samoa Joe, and Randy Orton. It was a good match. It was definitely a great, fun main event. Match comes down. Orton whips Kofi into the corner and charges, but Kofi moves. Orton hits the ring post and goes down. The New Day rallies for Kofi. Bryan and AJ tag in at the same time. AJ texts Joe on the apron, and then Orton, AJ with a backbreaker to Bryan on the crowd pops. AJ keeps control of the Bryan and drops his neck over his knee. AJ with a close 2 count. AJ calls for Styles Clash, but Bryan escapes as Orton charges in. AJ avoids the RKO and delivers a kick. More back and forth now. AJ ends up rolling Bryan into a calf crusher, but Joe breaks it up. Jeff with a twist of fate to Joe. Orton sends Hardy to the outside. AJ sends Orton out of the ring. Bryan rolls AJ up from behind as they go back and forth. Bryan with the label lock on AJ, but he gets the bottom rope. Bryan charges with a running knee, but misses as AJ moves. AJ drops Bryan with a Pele kick. Kofi has returned to the apron now as AJ tags in. Kofi flies in and takes Bryan down. Kofi gets dumped to the floor, but but he takes everyone else down on the outside, trust fall style. Bryan charges, but Kofi catches him in the face with a big forearm. Kofi flies back in the big dropkick to Bryan. Bryan goes to regroup with Rowan at the ringside. Kofi goes to the top and leaps out, taking down. Kofi nails Bryan with the Trouble in Paradise for the 1, 2, 3. Kofi, AJ, and Jeff Hardy win the match. After the match, a New Day, Jeff Hardy, and AJ Styles are all celebrating in the ring. Shane McMahon comes out on stage and announces Kofi Kingston, with the support of AJ and Jeff Hardy, will face Daniel Bryan for the WWE Championship at Fastlane on March 10th. Bryan looks on, still down, not happy. The New Day begins celebrating as the music starts back up. Smackdown goes off the air with New Day, Jeff Hardy, and AJ Styles all celebrating the big news for Kofi Kingston. Now, I feel this is a long time coming from Kofi. This is something he was supposed to get 10 years ago. If anybody doesn't know, it was about 10 years ago, Kofi Kingston was in line for a push to take on Randy Orton for the WWE Championship, but rumor has it that Randy Orton threw a fit backstage and got that push killed. So it's great to see that Kofi Kingston will get this opportunity. Again, it does suck for a guy like Mustafa Ali, who was supposed to be in this role, was supposed to be in this big spot, and now who knows what's going to happen with him. And people are talking about the WrestleMania match being Kofi Kingston versus Daniel Bryan. We will talk about that when we get to Saturday, what WWE has in mind for Daniel Bryan right now, and it's none of that. SmackDown, way better than Monday Night Raw, and they always seem to correct Raw's mistakes when it comes to stuff like this. NXT guys should have made their debut in Louisiana, in New Orleans, plain and simple. Lafayette did not deserve any of those guys this time. New Orleans showed them the love that they deserved, and thank you, New Orleans, for giving us at least a good crowd reaction for these guys. I'll see you guys probably tomorrow for NXT. I don't know how things are going right now, but I'll be here for NXT tomorrow. We have that great title match between Velveteen Dream and Johnny Gargano for the North American Championship, and Aleister Black versus Roderick Strong. So I am looking forward to that. But my name is The Franz. Find me on Twitter at The Franz. Find me on twitch.tv/TheFranz08. Hit that subscribe button, comment down below, like or dislike this video, and I will see you guys tomorrow for NXT. Hopefully tonight, but I don't think that's going to be possible. Until then, I'm getting out of here. You guys have a good one.